I know. Every single yeah. Yeah, that's what I did. Yep, I got it. Run it up front. 30 seconds. I'll get one here, Put your name on it. Hustle.
Yeah, but Mark's full. Thank you. Just even for iTunes.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, everybody. Hello. Hello. Okay, let's do our drawing really quick. All right. Okay, all my beautiful people that are here after a wonderful long weekend and nobody's hungover, right? Right? I work on it. Oh, Mike Granados. Hey. I wish I had a large. Yeah, maybe. Oh, I might have an XL something in my office or a book. So if you want to trade it in, it's kind of like the dentist. If you get something you don't like out of the dentist price bin, you can trade it in to something else. You can have a different dentist.
Like a different color sucker.
Okay, I'm gonna start. We have some announcements. Happy September for real. Like, I can't believe it's here. I can't believe it's the first day of school. Weekends are crazy. I have a high schooler that just started her freshman day today, which was an eventful weekend getting to that point, and in the morning. So anybody else, tell me something good. What did you do over the weekend? Anybody have an open house?
Open house, yeah. Saturday was pretty busy. Sunday was slow. Expecting the holiday weekend.
Right.
And then the first person that came to the open house actually did put an offer in with their agent. So
Oh, nice.
wasn't my specific listing.
Oh, wow. But
Where was it at?
South Everett, like Silver Lake.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good area.
So,
okay.
And then I got a good lead out of it too. So.
Did she show up, or did they show up with their agent?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Anybody else? Open houses? I just want to know what the traffic was like.
So can I do a sidebar? If you guys come in the office over the weekend for open houses, I think there was a lot of them this weekend. I came in Saturday and everything was secure, and then I came in Monday and the door in was unlocked. And so it's kind of scary working on the weekend by yourself, not knowing if you're by yourself.
Yeah,
auto lock over time.
we don't have an auto lock. You have to manually lock it.
We're working on that, but
If you come in, you have to manually lock it. If you go out, you have to manually
I'm really
lock
good
it.
at unlocking. Just don't worry, it wasn't.
was Labor Day.
Yeah, we were
I was
asking
just
for
wondering.
someone else.
Were you even working?
It'll lock itself.
Just making sure for Donnie's.
It's like, it'll lock.
Someone will come today.
Kim will show
Kim
up.
will be there.
Yeah. Kim will get murdered, it's fine.
I know, it's freaky, 'cause you don't know who's
That's a great
upstairs.
housekeeping reminder that, for locking the back door and also the alarm.
Yeah.
Make sure I put it in my phone. I have like office codes is a person in my phone, so I can just access it really fast, because we've had the alarm go off.
I just remember it's just a square. That's all I remember.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but somebody couldn't get there fast enough and remember it fast enough,
Over
right?
the alarm.
Yeah.
Well, I thought the alarm is our personal code.
Last 6 of your social security.
It depends.
Oh.
If you've been here forever,
Whatever
that's
code
what
it
it
was
is.
we gave you, that's the code.
Okay. Okay, so
We have a Zoom and it's being recorded, so maybe not talk about that.
what our codes are. Okay, so Philip did an open house for me.
Oh,
Philip
Philip?
Filippo,
Okay.
and he had, well, he called it 15 people, so what is that, like 7 groups through probably? And he got 2 buyers off of it. This is downtown Bellevue. It was Saturday, and then Sunday Taylor did it, and I think he only had 3 groups through, and no leads on that one.
Again, Saturday the busy day and Sunday before the holiday, not so busy.
I really thought it would be busier because people going back to school, that Bellevue Square would be a lot of shoppers, right? But I don't know.
Well,
School
They're focused
shopping.
on their teenagers.
only
Yeah.
certain people shop for back to school the weekend before back to school.
Well, that's where all the Labor Day sales are. That's when they're all on sale.
Yeah.
And only certain people shop at Bellevue Square anyway. Hello.
Right.
Well, I just want, everybody being here, like, it is hard to go summertime and then long weekend and then back to school week, and it's a lot of things, a lot of moving things, a lot of things going on. Being around your family all weekend is always
Wonderful.
blissful in my world. If you can remember, I'm constantly working on that. A couple announcements of what is coming up on the calendar, just because it's a short week and we're starting the week on a Tuesday. Ivy Joe has 2 classes this week, A to Z listings on Wednesday and Thursday at 11.
I'm so excited, by the
Here
way.
in the red room,
There'll
right?
be prompts, there'll be handouts. If I don't get through it all, hopefully I can get another extensional day next
One
week
more.
or the week after or something, because it's really gonna be good information for
Yeah.
everybody.
How to take a listing, how to get it on the market,
And this is why I get referrals, just FYI.
and how to set it up for referral business.
Yep. Mhm.
Awesome.
Question, is it a class that takes 2 days or is it?
It's a class that takes 2 days.
Okay.
And maybe more.
Got
Because it's all the way from setting the appointment, qualifying the seller, to closing and beyond.
And following it.
Nice. Do we need to bring our
For
laptops?
maximum.
You can, yeah, bring your laptops, take good notes. I will have handouts you can put notes on, and if anybody wants them afterwards, I can email it. So you can have it in Word and make it your own, and then change it into an auto plan. It's basically the auto plan from Brevity for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good, okay. And then, heads up, Daniel is running a fantasy football draft and he has 1 seat short. So we need,
We'll be kicking Ivy out
At 11:45. That's why I think I might need another day.
has 1 seat short because I'm not playing this year.
I'm not
Holly
playing
is
either.
providing.
I got roped into it last year and lost because I don't sports at all. Unless it's racing or racing cars.
Yes,
It's
only because they're cute.
Yeah, you guys driving.
Tennis
fast
players
cars.
are cute too. I sent that to you.
I'm not into that.
I don't watch it, I just.
Okay. But so if you want to join the fantasy football draft, see Daniel. I think there's his number on our
That's you.
calendar,
That's allergies.
and it's also on our, on the back of the, I don't have a calendar here, but on the back of our calendar, there's 2 QR codes, and you can sync your Google Calendar to our calendar, and it's on there, so note that. That's at 11:45 Wednesday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, and there'll be food that I'm buying.
Yes.
Cause you lost.
It can be good food.
It's a
Daniel's
good thing.
cooking.
That's a good lead.
I had to buy because
Loser
I
buys lunch,
lost.
so you don't want to be a loser.
Also, also last year it was team leader buys lunch, and so then Also, I bought lunch.
You were the way Daniel does.
Yes, and next year it'll be
He tried to
$200
open me into this. I'm like, I'm not a buffet, dude. Like,
And
that's
I'm like, whatever, right? Whatever. You're just hard, whatever. Okay, so on that upbeat high note, see how everybody's laughing and having fun? Tomorrow night is our career night, and we want to grow our market center. We need people to come in. I would love new agents. I would love agents in our area to come talk to me. We have a lot of growth opportunity here. We love each other. We build each other's careers up. So anybody that has somebody, send them my way for career night. It's tomorrow night at 6. Right now, I think we have just a couple people coming. So I'd like to get that number up. And if any agents want to join me at 6 to talk about, meet these new agents and talk about our culture here, that's also a bonus points. Back to work headshots is next Monday, and I'm adding this because I know Mondays are hard because the calendar or the email comes out Mondays. So it's going to be photos by Kim, I think, right?
Captured by Kim, yeah.
Captured by Kim, and not this Kim, Daniel's Kim. And it's going to be Monday from 12 to 2 in the front lobby, just like we did it last time. So if anybody wants to show up, there'll be some refreshments and headshots, and
I think Ashley's got a sign up sheet actually downstairs. There's a
sign up
couple
sheet at the
people.
front desk. It would be nice to get registered for it, so she knows how many people are going to be doing that. Like retakes. Back to school. Okay.
What time is that?
That is Monday, the 11th from 12 to 2. Yeah, okay. So I wanted to just really quickly talk about why it's important to achieve our goals. And I printed this lovely blurry, no, I'm sorry, it's blurry. And hopefully there's enough. Here, do you want to just like take one and pass one around?
Okay, it's not that bad.
No, it really is.
It's really bad. It's just,
It's that bad.
pretend that you're me or Ivy without our glasses on.
Okay, here, this is actually better.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Ivy.
let's stick 'em on.
It says, I just want you to know it says the same thing on every line, okay?
Why is it
Because
important to you? Oh,
why, this is figuring out your why.
Oh.
And I think, I want to throw all this on here.
Ah, follow Brandon Marcus down.
Oh, that's okay. Give me the brown one.
Well, it's four rounds. I don't like that sound.
Oh, it's a good sound.
I know.
I'm just gonna, can I turn this off for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, it's better to be big than one. Okay, so there's 3 L's of the MREA. If you guys don't know what the MREA is, it's the $1 Million Real Estate Agent book that Gary Keller wrote. And this is like the Bible of real estate. It tells you how to do real estate, right? Your first 100 pages is mindset, and your second 100 pages is models. If you want to know how to be a real estate agent, build a career as a real estate agent, it's all in these pages. There's 3 L's of the MREA, and it's like this, it goes like this. It's listings and leverage and leads. And this is a real estate agent's job. This is all our job is. It's finding listings, finding people to leverage them, finding leads, getting enough leads to get enough listings to be able to have so many listings that you need leverage. That's it. That's all we're doing, right? And it starts here, is finding enough leads. So perfecting your language, finding enough people to talk to, right? But I'm just gonna breeze through this because that's the beginning of the MREA. And Gary talks about these 3 things as a model to get your brain right and what you have to do every day. Because a lot of real estate agents, and we've heard this before, they get ready to get ready to get ready to get ready to get ready, right? They start in real estate and then they want to like make real estate. They want to look like, my business needs to look like this in order to get started. I have to get my database set up in order to get leads. I have to get my, all of my marketing together to get listings. you know, and they start thinking about it wrong. Because there's also 4 stages of growth as a real estate agent at the beginning. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It's this wonderful triangle that they use so much in KW. But the bottom one is think $1 million. And the next one is earn. And the next one is net. And the next one's receive. Right? And why do you think that you start, the bottom is so big?
Takes the longest.
Takes the longest. Anybody else?
We keep ourselves there, I think, like, we tend to stay there.
Get stuck here?
Thinking, getting ready, get stuck there.
Right? Good. It's good. I think it's the biggest foundation, right? I think it's the biggest foundation, and we do get stuck there, right? And it does take the longest. It takes the longest to get out of our own freaking way, right? We have to break through this barrier in order to earn. It's like think $1 million, earn $1 million, net $1 million, receive $1 million. That's what he calls it in here because it's called Millionaire Real Estate Agent, right? But remember our video we watched last week? Think like a pirate, earn like a pirate, net like a pirate, receive like a pirate. Arr, right?
Arr.
It doesn't matter that it's $1 million. It's just you have to be able to think clear about your business and know what you're doing. And that is just staying outside here and generating leads that lead to listings. And then find the leverage that leads back to more leads, right? It's a funnel.
And it's interesting that it's not a circle, perfectly round circle, because business don't do that. It'll flop, 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 like a not round wheel.
Right, it's true. And I've seen people turn this upside down. So it's a triangle this way, right? So it's like think and then earn and then, you know, receive is down here. CEIV. Because it's a funnel, right? Our thinking opens up this top part of the funnel so that we allow the leads and everything to come through, and the receive is on the small end. So if I put like 1,000 leads up here and I go find 1,000 leads, I'm going to receive a small percentage of that. I'm going to close a small percentage of that. And that's why it's like this. But anyway, I'm focused today on think. I want everybody to get their mindset right because we just came out of summer. We just came out of summertime, and I don't know about you, or if you're like me, but I'm kind of lazy in the summer. I want to sit around. I want to be a summertime agent. I'm going to touch my sphere, but I'm not going to do a whole lot. I know everybody's been working really hard to do stuff, but we have to work a little bit harder to get by right now. But there's no work better. Okay, work better.
Smarter,
Not harder.
smarter, not harder.
See, that's why we have people around us, right? To help us curate what's in our mind, right? Because we have to think right, right? Maybe that first thing I said wasn't perfect. It's never going to be perfect, but we have to have each other around us to guide us to what is right and which way we need to be going.
We didn't even plan that.
No, no, because that's
It's just-
natural. That's how it works.
It just shoots out of our mouth.
Think is powered by a big why, always, right? In this business, we have to know why we're doing it. If we know why we're doing it, the how will just come into play, right? We don't have to plan it out. We don't have to know the how. We just have to know how to think, know how to get our brain right, know exactly what we need to be doing. So that's why I passed these out. This is why it's important to achieve your goals and prosper. And finding your why is incredibly important in real estate because it helps you stay on track and accountable to yourself, right? So if you look at this thing, there's 7 levels of a why here. And you have to start. What is important to you about becoming successful in real estate? You know, what do you want to do in real estate? Why? You know, and I'll do an example. I'll do a sample one. Tell me something that would be important to me in at being successful in the real estate?
Enough to retire on.
Okay.
Money
So-
to retire.
Okay, so money to retire, so say a monetary value,
Monetary value.
we can start there.
Yeah.
We can just say,
Making money. Just say making money.
and we'll just say, let's just say like 700,000.
Oh, okay.
I'm shot in the dark,
Mhm.
okay? What is
Is that-
important to me
Is that
about
saving it or is that earning it?
just earning it?
Okay,
Just say earning it.
earning it.
Say that's where you start, because
That's your goal.
sometimes it's hard to start off what you want to do, right? Sometimes you like, what do you want to do in real estate? What's your goal? And
Some people it's just buy a house.
we don't know. It's really hard to see what our goal is right away. Sometimes you have to figure out what that is by
Yeah.
uncovering your why, right?
Yeah.
So say I'm like, oh, I want $700,000, in the next 5 years, right? Okay. Why is that important to me? Why is this number important to me? Well, I told you at the beginning of this, I have a 14-year-old. She just started her freshman year in high school, right? And so in 5 years from now, she's gonna go to college, I think,
We hope.
hopefully. I'm not sure
So
about
that's
after this
to pay
weekend, but.
pay for college then.
Yeah, so, college, why is that important to me? Because I want Sierra, college funds.
Collage funds.
Okay, whatever.
That's fine.
Becky, what else? should-
Obviously, I didn't go to college. So I want her
Maybe
to.
that's just a truth.
Just gotta change that A, change that A to an E.
Zero.
Change that A, E. There you go.
College, college, not college.
Let's all be vulnerable. Okay, so I want college funds for Sierra, right? Okay, well, why is that important?
So she doesn't start.
So she
in
knows how
debt?
to spell
Oh, so she doesn't start her life in debt with college tuition
Yeah.
bills.
right? No
Student
debt.
loans, no debt for Sierra.
Oops.
Oh, yeah, she started it again. No bet for Sierra.
It's really hilarious when you get up here, how hard it is to write on this board. Okay, there's so no debt for my kids, right?
Set her, your first and foremost job is to set her on a path of success.
Yeah. Well, why is that important to me? Well, one of the things is that I'm the only breadwinner in my household right now, right? So
Oh,
it's important for me to dig in, because if I don't do it, nobody else is gonna, right? And we go down, we keep going down. So you keep uncovering your why. The further you go down, the further you go down, the further you go down. And I always say on the top box, I want to say it's important to me that ... And then here I would put I earn. Okay, because we're doing a money. But at the top box, I would like to put, it is important to me that I earn $700,000, because when you get down to the bottom box on this sheet, it says specifically, why is it important for you to? So you keep going down, keep going down, keep going down, keep going down, right? When you start to get down into these deeper ones, you start to get into your feelings.
Yeah, and then I would
Right.
cry. Some people cry at
It's
the end.
important to me because I want her to be happy. How about successful?
Mm-hmm. You don't have to take care of her when she's. I'm
I
sorry.
want her to feel like she's worth something.
Yes, exactly. And so she can set a good example for your grandkids. Maybe.
She's worth. So at the end, when you get all the way down here into these feelings, which you can take these home and do it at home, obviously. We don't have to be crying in here. If you want to do this and you need some help, I will help you. Come to me and I will help you go through this. But when you get down to the bottom and you say, I want her to feel like she's worth something, I write at the bottom on the top of that square, because then I. because then I. Okay? It's important to me that I earn $7,000 and you can get rid of the whole middle, because then I know that she'll feel like she's worth something. Okay? And that's how you build your why. You start at the top with a figure, you dig down into the feelings, and then when you get down to that bottom feeling, you add because then I this. It is important to me to this because then I this. And it's incredible sometimes what comes out of this. Quick forward, this is a sample. But the last time I did mine, last year, Kim and I were sitting next to each other. I started out because Alan had just quit his job. And so my goal was to earn a certain amount per month to cover our overhead. Because at the end, I wanted to bring joy into Alan's life, right? It was important for me to do this because I wanted to bring joy. Turns out I forgot to add joy for me. But you see where I'm going. You see where I'm going with this. So I just wanted to bring this up because it is September and we're going to start building our business goals and expectations and the thing we want to do next year, 2024. That's coming up like next month. We're going to start doing some business planning clinics and things to really build our businesses and what we want it to look like, and setting these goals up here. And unless we have this done and understand what this is for ourselves, it's going to be really hard to figure out what it is that's important to me to do next year without understanding why. Because the how doesn't matter. The how will come. This is the how, right? This is the how, the models that Gary gives us. The why comes from in here, and we all have to know what that is and be able to have that hold us accountable to why we're here, how we're going to show up in our business. Because if I don't show up in my business every single day and do the things that's going to take me to do this, I'm sacrificing something really important to me. And that's what these little goals and sheets are for. All right. So take this home, do your homework, come see me if you need some help or want to be accountable, have somebody hold you accountable to it. I'd love to share in your goals and your whys and your dreams. That's like that is my favorite thing. So that would be a little bit of building some happiness for Molly. I want to do a good job building my career and net goals. So because then I can share it with my team later.
Oh, is that what we did?
And make her happy.
Yeah. Okay, one more. I'm going to segue into this.
Because then I can make Molly happy. You're
Because
everyone's
then,
why.
yeah, oh, no, we need a more powerful one. Not everybody's why. Everybody has a why, and it's all going to be different. It could be, but it always has to do with feelings, and that's why you have to go 7 levels deep on these things. Sometimes you can Google a why sheet, and it's only 4. It's like 4 reasons, da 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 da, and then you get to the bottom. But you have to have 7 to get you into your feelings and emotions, and that's the key to the success on this.
It's really great to like get a partner and work on it together. I think I have the paperwork that went with it that we did last year.
Oh,
We had a group, like 60, 70 people, I think, in the room that all did it. And we just like took 5 minutes and did it on our own. It's a little bit harder. Like this doesn't really show you exactly how well it works because these are like samples and like, other people helped. But when you're looking at it and doing it on your own, maybe it's like one other person and then you read it out loud. Like we literally had one of the toughest guys that I know was crying, and like people were changing their plans, like their course of actions just because of this one sheet. I think it's pretty powerful. It's pretty cool.
it's very powerful.
I'm gonna do it with my husband because I think it would be good to get buy-in from them too.
It's
For
good
your
to do.
assistance.
It's good to do with your husband. Do it with your kids.
Yeah.
Do it with anybody.
Mhm.
It's some people balk at it and be like,
That's that woo.
It doesn't take that long, and it sometimes people don't like to get into their feelings, but the feelings is the thing that's going to bring us impetus and power to move us forward. It's just That's the way it is. We gotta trick our brain. Trick your brain. Okay, get your think right. One more quick announcement, which I forgot, is KW, we just had the largest meeting, and I think I touched on this a little bit. KWRI had the biggest meeting and vote about some KW policies. And one of them was the KW profit share policy. And we don't teach or talk a lot about profit share for some reason, but we're going to start. But I'm going to start because there's so much power in it. It is a tool that we can use to create passive income. And it will help us grow the market center too, with the right kind of people that want to grow the market center and propel us forward, teach classes, people that we want to be around. So the cool thing is that Keller Williams, always people come into Keller Williams, go through all the training, and then sometimes build their profit share, right? And then sometimes they leave the Keller Williams system and go to a competing brokerage, but they still were receiving their profit share checks. And Keller Williams decided, if you retire from Keller Williams, that's totally fine. You can still receive your profit share checks. But if you go to a competing brokerage, I don't think it's fair to the other Keller Williams agents that are still here growing the market centers to be giving those profits away to outside to competing agents. And so Keller Williams changed their tune on it, changed all the paperwork, and they decided that they were going to cut those competitors' profit share from 95% from 100% to 5%, which gives 95% of those profits back to our agents that are here, right? Like, super important. So anyway, Kim printed these out for us. It's just a little snapshot on what happened, how it worked, and what is this quote? Gary says, "We created a program that would treat our real estate sales associates like legitimate partners in the business. We created a program that allows associates to build a business inside a real estate company that is as powerful as if they owned the company themselves." That was the point of profit share. And we'll teach more about that as we go along this next quarter. I'm going to bring in some profit share classes to talk about how profit share can disappear your cap. If you set it up right and bring the right people in, invest in your own business in profit share, you can create a system that will pay your cap back, right? So there's just opportunity here. But if you guys want to read about the profit share, that's that.
If anyone knows any agents that left Keller Williams that you're trying to get them to come back, I think it's July of 2024 is when it's signed in. And so if they come back to Keller Williams before it's signed in, then they are grandfathered in.
I don't even give them that information. I just say you have 6 months to make a decision. If you're gonna come back into Keller Williams, and only people that we would care to be here,
Yeah.
right? If they left Keller Williams and they suck, let's not bring them back.
I said I think when they want.
Want is the key word there. Let's think about it. Because it gives them the opportunity. They're not going to know that, right? They're not going to know that. And I would hate to be in the position where somebody comes to me and says, I want to come back into Keller Williams. And as soon as they come back in, I have to start them from scratch, right? Because that's what happens after that 6-month window. That's all erased, and the profit share tree erases their level. So all the levels come together, and then they would have to come in as just a new agent would. So, and some people have built some big profit share trees. So, does anybody have any questions on do we have a chat or anything?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm just writing.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'm just going to, what time is it? 11:30. Okay, so I have, I printed off some of these. These are some of the slides from Gary Keller's State of the Industry. I just printed the slides I thought were the most important. We're gonna play it. So we're gonna watch Jen Lewis, right? And somebody else, which I really wish I would have wrote that down now. So crazy person. Thank you. But they're gonna talk about Gary's State of the Industry. And then after that, we'll mastermind a little bit about what you guys think. about it. Hopefully I can. Figure out how to.
Do I just share screen or do I just push play?
Do we need to bring the projector down?
Where are you? Yeah.
Okay, really?
That's what I just
So I can't share the screen.
Give us
Yeah. I know, that's heavy.
Okay, hang on, we'll get this going.
I'm sorry. Exactly.
Should we just start it?
Yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna start it. For those of you that are watching on Zoom, I'm gonna share it to the Facebook after the meeting too. Yes.
Hi, guys. We're back with your August market snapshot. And don't forget to subscribe and also like or comment in case you want to tell us what you want to hear next time. Ruben, we're going to be talking today about all things market update with Gary Keller. So what are the three things that we're going to talk about first?
Yeah, so we'll go into Gary's, term that I think he may have coined, the rolling recession. We'll get into affordability, some interesting facts about mortgages that I found really illuminating, and then a little bit about what decisions people can make that might help them sort of manage that affordability burden.
Love it. So rolling recession, huh? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I mean, let's start with hearing what Gary has to say about it in this clip.
I truly believe that we're headed towards something I've never seen before, and that is a rolling recession, meaning that sectors in the economy, one's doing well while another one's not. So right now, real estate is the sector that's having a recession. Any industry right now that is driven by the cost of money is having a recession.
Ruben, what do you think of when you hear the word rolling recession? What does that really mean?
Essentially what that means is that spending inside the economy is shifting from one place to another. We saw that during the pandemic. One of the big movements then was moving from buying services, which weren't available anymore, and the shifting that into goods. But we've seen that shift back now, buying more services. Well, high interest rates are going to have a similar effect. We're going to move away from things that have a essentially cost of money associated with them, things like cars, things like houses, and moving to things people are more likely to purchase with cash.
When we think about it, we're in the housing industry. People who are watching are thinking about housing. We're part of that right now, right? We're part of the recession right now.
Exactly. We've been contracting now for going on our second year, right, in terms of home sales. So yes, we are in a recession by the definition of something that's shrinking.
Sure. Well, and we're seeing that in a lot of different ways because the unexpected rises in our mortgage rates coupled with wages weren't outpacing inflation was kind of an issue. Gary dug into that a little bit as well.
And that's where we are at 3.5 right now. It fundamentally can't get much lower. Okay. People have jobs, by the way. Here's an interesting stat. And if you just go to the far right and the yellow line or gold line, and it says 9.5, that means there's 9.5 million job openings. But notice there's 5.9 million unemployed. Here's what that means. That means that 5.9 is the 3.6%, meaning that when you have about 5 to 6 million people unemployed in the United States, you're considered at full employment. So we're at full employment, and there's still over almost 4 million jobs that are still available, that are, right? This is how wages go up, because immediately, if there's 4 million jobs that need filling, but there's no additional people looking for them, what do they end up doing?
Offer more.
Yeah, they'll go right up to your people and say, hey, you can come to work over here for X amount.
What I heard him say is that we have more job openings than people who are unemployed. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that pattern actually kind of started before we got into the pandemic, which I can see in the graphic. But during the pandemic, it got like really out of whack. So now we're, have almost 4 million jobs in excess of the number of people we have unemployed right now, which means even if we just employed all those people, companies would still have open positions, right? So that creates a lot of sort of, in a sense, think of it as like pressure on things like wages. But it also gives us a lot of room for things to slow down before we see unemployment start to move up, right?
Absolutely. So there's a few other things that he talked about, and I think the next one we're going to talk about is really more in lines with affordability.
Yeah, that's right. And again, let's hear what Gary has to say about it, and we'll break it down.
The last decade, yeah, you've been living on incredibly cheap money, and that's been part of the problem, right? Now, how that translates, by the way, is into this slide right here. And that is, right, the price of a piece of real estate coupled with the cost of money creates what we call affordability. And so when we look at the affordability,
I only pulled certain
it
slides,
still only
but
takes
I
29% of
post the
someone's
video and
income
then
on
also
average
post
to
the
finance
link to
their
all
home.
the slides. I have that.
Now you look up and say, oh my God, 29%. When I got in real estate, it was like 50%.
That's so crazy.
And I thought that was normal. Yeah, and people say, I don't want to be house poor. Depends on where you are in life, to be candid with you.
Yeah, so there we heard Gary talk about the fact, when he got in the industry, it was 49%, which is like kind of astonishing, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
what does that really mean? What does the stat 29% really mean? Well, we're looking at, assuming a median family income, 20% down payment, median price home. So that sort of gives you an idea. We're in the middle, like, something like 50% of people are going to be below this, above this, depending on their income and the price house they choose. And we see the historical average of 27%, which we are above, right? So that does kind of point to the idea that things are a little less affordable than would be like normal.
Right.
And we also know that typically if you're getting a mortgage, somewhere around 36% of the kind of a debt to income ratio is going to be where you're going to get capped out. So as we get closer to that, it's definitely going to feel, a little bit tighter. And one thing we can look at, Jen, is sort of what we dug up and what Gary had to say about the fact that, how mortgage rates are broken down right now is also playing into inventory and the sort of sense that things are unaffordable.
Sure.
So let's look at that clip really quickly.
I'm walking around thinking this is horrible. This is not horrible. This is not horrible. It's only when you look back over the last 10 years, right? But again, even 29%, you guys, isn't bad, right? So here's the challenge. The reason why everybody thinks it's bad is because everybody either financed or refinanced their home in the last decade. So 89% of all mortgages have rates of 5% or less, right? 32% are 3% or less. 27% is 3 to 3.5. You get the picture, right? There's only 4% that are at 6 to 7%. That's because they financed last year.
What I'm taking away from this, when I'm talking to a client or a fellow realtor, we should be talking about the fact that, number one, we're not super far off of the average affordability to add housing into the mix. And the number of folks out there who have equity in their homes is really going to impact the other conversation we were just having about the 89% of folks who have a 5% or less mortgage rate, right? They want to get rid of it, but there's some stuff going on in the background that we should be talking about with them and putting a plan together for how they could still make a real estate transaction work for them. Am I catching all that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Jen. We saw that 89% of mortgages have 5% or less, right? And that sounds like kind of a daunting stat because we know that people with low mortgage rates are unlikely to want to move.
Right.
It kind of, we get that mortgage rate law conversation, which we've had on, previous market update videos that
Golden
we've done,
handcuffs.
right?
Yes.
But yeah, let's break down kind of like what the mortgage universe looks like even a little bit more. And let's jump to Gary talking about it real quickly in terms of like what percentage of homeowners are actually sitting on, 50% or more equity.
So look at home equity, right? Where's the opportunity? We have 87 million homeowners, by the way. 39% own their home outright with no mortgage on it whatsoever.
Take a minute, that's 4 out of 10 homeowners own it outright, no mortgage.
Yeah.
Blows me away.
Yeah, no debt on it whatsoever. Almost 40%.
Who are all these people?
Yeah, they're there, man. 61% have a mortgage, but if you dissect that, 31% have at least 50% equity. Right? Think about that. Literally 70% of all homeowners have at least 50% equity. 40% have no mortgage.
They don't know what they're sitting on. One, they probably don't know how much equity. I think you made that point. And they don't know what that equity could do for them if they want to buy another house, regardless of interest rates. They have options that only we can educate them about.
So, wow, I mean, over 70% of homeowners have more than 50% equity in their homes. That is phenomenal, right? I mean, it's good news.
Right. I mean, I think it gives people more options. And I think to me, and you can speak to this more, Jen, as a realtor, I suspect that a lot of people don't understand that they have this much equity, right? Because the value of your home isn't something that's like reported to you and like written in stone at any given time. It's shifting with market conditions. So I think there's an opportunity for our industry to kind of help communicate this to people.
Absolutely. So this is when a great realtor can sit down with a client and say, okay, this is what you owe, this is what your home is worth, and then this is how much equity you have that you can roll into the next purchase. So to the point that you were making earlier that Gary was making, we don't have to stick to just the 20% guideline. You can avoid having a larger percentage of your home that's really working against you with that 7%-ish interest rate by putting more money down. So less money is affected by the interest rate, your payment's a little bit lower, maybe you're lower than that affordability index that we were talking about earlier too. So having that full conversation is really important to a buyer or a seller, especially a move-up buyer in this market.
Yeah, I think it's extremely salient right now that people be having these conversations with their clients.
Yeah, absolutely. A great realtor is going to be able to give you all of that information. So we should definitely be working on that. And then the last part that we were going to talk about today was how many of those homeowners are confused a little bit about the way that their money is spent. So not just the equity in the home, but you and Gary did something really interesting in the market update, comparing buying a really nice car to what your mortgage rate would look like with today's rate.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And one of the challenges there that we saw is that the way the income side of the conversation works is you can kind of get to that car a little bit sooner than the house. But we think that that's probably not a great idea. Let's hear what Gary kind of had to say about that.
So this is just perspective, right? So let's just say you bought a $200,000 home in 2014, 20% down, 4% mortgage rate, and you own a truck you bought in 2015. Your mortgage payment is $1,597 a month. Your truck is paid off, right? So this is right. So let's say that you stayed in your home, but you decided to buy your dream car. So your budget home and your dream car. You keep your home the way it is, but you buy a 2022 Jeep Grand Wagoneer.
Great looking cars.
Mm-hmm. By the way, that car payment is more than your mortgage payment.
Gross.
Now, when you see anyone driving a Jeep Wagoneer, you'll think about them differently. Right? Take on your deduction, so your debt's $3,300. So your total spending debt is $3,300 a month. Everybody with me? Next slide. So let's say that you flip it and you keep driving the truck, and instead you buy your dream home, right? Look what happens. You keep your truck, sell your home, now worth $400,000, and buy your dream home for $650. Use your full equity as a down payment. You pay 7% mortgage. Look at your payment. Look at your spending.
It's $50 more to own an appreciating asset versus something that lost 20% of its value when it came off the lot.
$50 more. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So again, wow, Ruben, right? People are making these decisions and maybe not having all of the information to make the right one. We're not telling people don't go buy a nice car, just maybe think about it and think about the impact that it has before you make that decision, because it does really impact how much house you can afford right now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And one of the things we didn't get into on stage, but that's really the case, is there's time involved, right?
Mhm.
So get the appreciating asset first. When you buy the car, you can have a higher debt to income ratio. And so when you hit those income levels where you can afford one or the other, you can usually afford both, but you need to do the house first. And then if you decide that Wagoneer is in the cards for you, like that opportunity will be there afterwards.
I love it. One of my favorite quotes that I think about here is, do the things today that no one else will do so you can do what they can't do tomorrow. Just be patient, get the house now, buy the car later. That's the message.
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, if you loved this and you want more, then make sure you come back in September, because we'll be back again for another market snapshot.
Thank you, Kim. Yeah. Okay, that was obviously not the full state of the industry, but just a snapshot of it. That's why it's
I
important.
wish he had put the interest rate of the car down there, so we could really.
Wasn't it on there?
It was on there.
It's on there,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's on the slide.
It's on the slide.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first one says 8% for
Philip,
5 years.
Thank you. So, did anybody have a takeaway? Let's mastermind this. We have 10 minutes.
My takeaway is that it gives you a whole different clientele to go after, the people that don't know what they have. Everyone's thinking that they need to find these people that need to buy a home, the divorce, death people. That's what I keep hearing in the office. But
Does Anton keep coming?
no, from lots of people. But there's people out there like myself, I know, that has a house that has more than half the equity, and convincing those people, hey, you need to sell your house and get a different house. Here's
Yeah.
why.
Here's why. Well, how about if they sell their house, buy the car cash, and then buy the house? And then they don't have payment, like car, and they have the new car. And they put a big down payment on it.
Would you agree that our conversations are different?
Yes.
Yeah.
It brings me back, it's exactly right, Kim. Every time I have a conversation with my clients now, it's true. We always were a real estate consultant. Now we really are, right? And we're wealth-based real estate consultant. So thank God for Ben Kinney, right? Because he started When Make Give and that whole thing, and the wealth podcast, and how to teach people how to build wealth in real estate is our #1 conversation we're having now. Because literally 89% of mortgages have 5% or less on their interest rates, which that's what we're seeing and feeling, right? A couple of months ago, or maybe it was last month, I can't even remember, I've lost track of time. But I was talking about how my pipeline, I have this big pipeline that's looming, just this big pipeline of people that aren't moving in real estate. And I'm trying to do a better job of, when I talk to them, helping them understand what their next move is. What's their next play? How do they build wealth in real estate? Not convince them or whatever, but just help them understand it, empower them with the information that we have that we can give them from stats like this.
Just ask them what their plans are, if they thought about it. And maybe you can help them speed it up.
Yeah, right? Maybe they're afraid of being a landlord, and understand and help them understand that there's options for that, right?
Yeah.
You can go into, you can get another house and plug it into real estate management and not even have to deal with it. It's like an investment, and then help them understand what their rate of return on investment, or ROI on that project would be. And now you're having a real estate investment consultation, right? I wrote down real estate consultant, wealth consultant, and empower your clients. That was just huge to me when I was listening to Gary talking about that and showing. You just show people, tell them a story, create a story around the car home scenario that it might not even be true, but just name someone.
Well,
Bob and Sherry
Yeah.
bought a house and bought a truck, and then create a story around that so you can tell them that.
she talked about the golden handcuffs, which I gathered from the conversation was people don't feel like they can move because the interest rates are high and the house pay, their interest rates so low.
Right.
If we can help them unlock those golden handcuffs.
That car story scenario
Yeah,
is the golden key to those.
but
golden
it's
handcuffs.
always gonna be people out there that really don't like their house and really don't want to be stuck in it.
Right, sure.
It has
And-
nothing to do with anything but a want.
There's also gonna be people that are hiding behind a barrier of fear and don't wanna take the equity out of their home and don't understand. They wanna keep their equity there, thinking that that's their biggest power play, right?
Mhm.
And don't wanna end up in a different scenario where they don't have the equity in their home and prices are gonna come back down. But when I give you all of those slides that Gary gave us in that state of the industry, you'll see that curve line keeps going.
Yeah, the prices aren't coming down.
Prices are not
Never.
gonna come down unless we have some major,
World War III.
I don't even think that would.
Maybe not.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. I think that that's not the case scenario. When we saw prices come down, it was because of a financial blow.
It was a crash. Yeah.
And that had to do with lots of things. It had to do with poor banking rules and things like that. So, and we saw a lot of people, I saw a lot of people, I don't know how many people had their license during the last market slide, okay?
I knew that.
I'm with you.
Okay. Well, it was so weird because learning how to negotiate a short sale, let me tell you, that's fun.
Yeah, there was lots and lots of short sales.
And that means, what that means is that they owed more on their house than they could sell it for.
They
Sorry, I
didn't
wanna
have
make
the
sure.
equity in their house.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
That was gone. And so now that they were facing something else, they were facing a bill when they closed their house, there was no net proceeds. And it was a weird time that we're not seeing. And I think that that's why he brought it up and
That's what he
stressed
brought
it
up.
so much.
Now it's a good
He
time to buy it.
stressed so much this amount of equity that people have in their homes because we're seeing a shift in the market in real estate. We're seeing recession and all these things. However, we are seeing across the board so much value that people have in their homes that they can utilize and build wealth.
Yeah.
So it's just another conversation. How do we get one more deal? How do we get them to move forward? You know, and trying to think of outside of the box ideas on how to consult them for what they need.
I think it all ties back to mindset too, because I hear a lot of people talk about those 3% people like, oh, well, they're not gonna wanna move. They're not gonna wanna, they're tied in, they're set, they're not gonna wanna leave. And that's a mindset where you have this mindset and say, ooh, I can consult with them and tell them why they should.
Well, you have to tap into their emotion. If they aren't happy with their house, you have to explain to them, hey, wouldn't you be better off to be happy for the rest of your life and just have a little bit of higher interest rates?
Help them uncover their why.
Yeah, yes, very good.
Right? Help them
Because
uncover their why. Help them
Being
break
joyful
through.
is more important than money.
Sometimes it's not the money and it's not the investment and it's not the house.
Right.
Sometimes it has to do with their daughter having worth, right?
Yes, right.
When you get all the way down to the bottom of the 7 levels of their why and helping them with the needs analysis on understanding what they actually need to do to move forward. And then take them through, like I said last week, through the pain cycle, point out, paint the vision for them. And then point out take that away and give them the pain of it, of not having it. What happens if, what will happen if, what does it look like if? Paint these things in and understand what their real why is, because that way, when we go back to these numbers, we get the feeling first, and then what comes next?
Action.
The logic and the numbers.
Oh, well.
The action, but if we get them to feel it, then the numbers and the data will prove it.
Yeah, true.
Back it up. So anyway, we'll wrap. It's 11:58. And I just want everybody to know our conversations are different. We gotta get our mindset right. We've got a busy calendar for the month of September. So everybody, if you haven't got a paper calendar yet, go get it. Sync it onto your Google Calendar on the back. And next week, we're gonna be at Built How. There's probably 23 of us that are gonna be gone. So there won't be a sales rally next Tuesday. No network rally.
Hey, maybe I'm gonna be here and have a party.
Yeah.
Kim's gonna
Having a
party
private,
in my
Have a
office.
party.
MCA party. That's right.
Well, if you come back and there's
She has a key.
booze spilled all over the, I'm just kidding.
It's an MCA party, Ivy.
Excuse
Oh, that's right.
me.
They're gonna be talking about accounting numbers.
Oh, I don't know if I want that party.
Yeah, I can think of lots of things to account. Okay, anyway, have a wonderful week. I will see you.
That was fun.